Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I'm sharing with you my index cards a day, days 30 and 31. And this was playing with Spectra Art Tissue, which is a bleeding tissue. If it gets wet, everything comes out of it. It's kind of like a crepe paper streamers. You know, if you have those and they're in the rain, they lose all their color. It's the same type of an idea. So the first thing I did was take some of my tissue and punch out of it. And I tell you what, I was having some trouble. First I punched some circles, which was fine. They worked out fine. But then I tried to punch with that other punch, which has three kind of odd rectangle shapes on it, which is one of my favorites. It's from Stampin' Up from a long time ago. And I couldn't get it to work. It wouldn't punch through the tissue. I mean, it just, you'll see in this video, I left in the things that happened to me during these 2 days that, it was like there was gremlins in the studio. I had some troubles. But anyway, so I separated out all my colors of tissue, and on this card I put gesso down. And while it was still wet, I added all the little circles on top of it. Then I sprayed with my water sprayer and got it good and wet and kind of let it soak there for a second. And I pressed it down with my 2-inch brayer, just trying to get contact for all the circles with the index card. And then I started to peel them off using my tweezers. Before I did this, I did put my gloves in a bottle on. I knew this was going to stain my fingers. I knew I was going to touch it and it was going to get all over me. So I was trying to have, a good art day, not get completely stained, and yeah. Anyway, so with that one, the colors came out really pastel, and that's because I put gesso on there. And so it was mixing in with the gesso. And so then I'm like, okay, fine, let's try it without the gesso and see what kind of effect it has. And these are the pieces that are I kind of tore out of the punch because they wouldn't punch and I just got frustrated. So I'm just tearing them into little roughly triangular shapes and putting them on just right on another index card without any gesso or anything. I have done one other project when I first got this gesso, and I'll try to remember to put it in an iCard there in the upper right hand corner. It's a canvas. It's been really popular, so you guys might want to watch it and see what I did with the tissue then. So now I'm drying it, and as I'm drying it, all the little pieces of tissue are flying off and I'm having to corral them. But I didn't press this one down with my brayer or anything, so I don't think the tissue got contact all the way. So I took some of the pieces that looked like they still had ink in them and I put them back on and then wet it again. And this time I kind of picked them off. Well, I tried to pick them off. Anyway, so I got a lot brighter effect on that one. So I decided to just combine the two, and here I am again with my punch, trying to make my punch work. Grr. It was not working. The paper was still slightly wet, and I think that's the reason. With the tissue paper, it has too much give, and so if your punch is really super sharp, it'll work, but otherwise it won't. And this one's obviously not sharp. I've obviously used it way too much. And I understand that you can sharpen them by taking it and punching it through tinfoil a lot, so I'll try that. And then otherwise, if that doesn't work, I guess I'm done with that punch. Anyway, so I made my little odd-shaped rectangles, and now I'm using some golden gel. This is not my favorite adhesive, and it balls up, and yeah, anyway. More trouble with that. It's balling up. It's just one of those days. So anyway, I glue all my little odd-shaped rectangles on there, and I'm liking the effect of having the brighter over the more pastel. I think it looks kind of cool. It's very abstract, and that was what I was going for. I wasn't going for something precise, so that worked out fine. Then to make my little weird rectangles stand out more, I decided to take the navy blue Posca pin and just go around them and make them stand out more from the background. They were brighter, but I guess they weren't, there just wasn't a border delineating them from the background. So that worked. I thought that looked pretty cool. I was pretty happy with it actually. I still am as I look at it. That's neat. I like that. Then I'm like, needs a border. Okay, get out the blue ink and the blue archival ink. Go around the border. I do this on almost every one of these index cards. I just don't like them to not have an edge. I don't know. It's weird. And then I'm like, what am I going to do with it? So I get out one of these quotes that I printed out on my Pinterest board called Quotes to Live By. I have a lot of quotes. You guys can go take a look at those if you want to. This is one of them, and it's very appropriate and true. So I decided to put it on there because I thought it really went with this background. And so I cut it out. Then I wanted to make it a little bit more. I don't know. I couldn't. I kept moving it around. I couldn't decide. It was covering up too much of my cool background. But it was just a big quote, and that's just all there is to it. So I had to live with it. Just get over it, glue it on there, and stop complaining. So I took the blue and just kind of edged sloppily around it. If you read the quote, you'll see kind of what I was going for, because it's a very true quote. And then I put it on there, and of course, it's sticking out over the edge, so I have to reposition it, get my fingers all sticky with this dumb adhesive that I don't like. I like the soft gel from Golden. I don't like this regular gel for this type of an application. So I'm really honing down to what I actually like as far as collage glue. So then I'm like, I guess it needs some splatters because splatters, you know. So that's white titanium acrylic paint with my fan brush and a little bit of water. Dried that up, and I decided I was done with that one. So here's your close-up. For the next day, which was day 31, I decided to play this tissue was still there, and I just had this vision in my mind of what I think it should do. And if you guys are familiar with the children's books by Eric Carle, Hungry Caterpillar, those books, I just feel, I don't know this for a fact, and I'm sure I'm absolutely wrong. I just feel that those characters were made with this tissue. I think this tissue should do that. And so I decided to try it again. I got out a new clean index card, and this time I'm trying to make grass and a blue sky. So I'm cutting the different colors of green and making some little grass strands. And then I've got the light blue, the lighter of the blues up at the top. And then I put the light green across the bottom, and I'm thinking this is totally going to work, right? This is totally going to work. And I make sure that it's pressed down, you know, so that all the tissue paper is in contact with the index cards. I decide to add a little bit more green at the top and at the bottom, just to make sure that the card is covered with color. And then I go and dry it, pull it off. It's not covered with color. Colored with cover. See, I'm even still having it. Anyway, there's some white over there. I don't know how it got there considering I pressed it all down and everything. But so also the little strands of grass didn't come out clearly. They bleed all together. So I decided to go and take my white Posca pen and draw them around. And then I'm like, okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good. So I go and get my color boxes, and I decide to do a little bit of collaging. And I think I need some longer, more defined strands of grass for what I'm going for here. I was outside the morning of this day, and there was a ladybug. And that's not something I normally see here in Arizona. I don't think there's that many ladybugs, but one landed on the table and was crawling around on the table as I was drinking tea outside. So I decided to make a ladybug. Decided to make a collage ladybug because when it comes to animals, I seem to like to collage them, or in this case, insects. So I'm putting some longer strands so that my ladybug will have something to crawl on, because the other ones just seem too short and not separated enough, I guess. So this time I got my soft gel out instead, my golden soft gel, and I like that stuff better than the regular gel. So I will put the links to everything. People keep asking me to do this, and it just takes extra time, but I'll go ahead and do it. I'll put the links to the things that I'm using in the description below. That's that little box that says see more. You guys can go down there, look at them. Then you'll know exactly what things I have. And, if you want to try them out, you can try them out that way. Okay, so now this is my red color box, and I've got a jelly printed piece, and I'm just kind of cutting it in a rough oval shape. Then I decide that I need it to, I need more colors, more differences in color, and so I decided to do the bottom half shell in a darker red and the top half shell in that lighter cool jelly print that I had with the swirls on it. I'm happy with that. Then I am getting out the black to make its little head. That's my black and white box. I know it looks white from the top, but it actually has blacks and whites. Then I decide I need another branch for it to sit on because it still isn't like in the right position. It doesn't have something to stand on really. So I get out another piece of green scrap and make another little grass blade. So now I have 4 grass blades. And gluing that on, and then I'm going to glue on my little shell too while I'm at it. So ladybugs do have like really 2 half shells. If you guys ever watch them, if they open up their wings are tucked underneath the shells, and they can just like open them up like curtains. So that's how come I wanted there to be a line in between down the middle of the back to kind of show that there's 2 separate shells there. Then I've got some different blacks, and I'm going to make the little head so that it has something to put eyes on because, it does have eyes, little eyes. So I get that situated, and I'm going to glue those on. So that's all going pretty well. Except for it's a little bit crooked and I had to peel it off, and yeah, more gluey fingers. You just can't collage without getting your fingers completely coated in glue. So then I get out my Bombay India inks, and I'm just going to put in the spots and the little legs and things like that on my ladybug. I didn't feel like cutting them out of paper. It just seems too tedious for that day. Some days I will do that, and other days I just really decide to paint them instead. So I'm painting on his little legs, and his, he's trying to hold on to that one blade of grass, which still isn't quite positioned correctly, but whatever. Whatever, okay? It's got some antennas, and then one little other leg on the other side is grabbing onto that other blade of grass that's sticking up. And then I wanted the wing tips to show out the bottom. They kind of show a little bit underneath the shell, just the very tips of them. So then I get out the white, and I'm adding highlights and eyeballs and things like that, where the sun would shine off the shell. It seems to be working out pretty well. She's pretty cute. Then I decide that just the 2 colors of red aren't enough, so I decide to add in a 3rd color of red in places, which I decide to just do with my Posca pens. So I'm doing that with my red Posca pen. It's a more cherry red, and then we've got like a deeper burgundy and then the orange at the top. I thought that looked a little bit better. And then just touching up places adding some definition with my fine tip black. Still fussing with those little wingtips at the bottom, trying to decide what they should look like. So if you guys are enjoying this video, please remember to, oh, yeah, I left this in. See how the camera is now skewed? My blue archival ink fell off right into my water. Splashed water all over. I bumped the camera. I was trying to clean it up. I just decided that you guys should see the things that can happen in my studio. I don't always leave that stuff in when I'm having a comedy of errors day. But this time I did. So I wanted to use the gray archival ink, and it was the blue that fell off and landed in the water. It was quite funny. So anyway, I was about to say, if you guys like this video and you think I'm making something good, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and comment and share it, and of course subscribe if you want to continue to see my videos, even when they're like this. I put a couple little stickers on there from Tim Holtz's Ranger Small Talk, I think it's called. Little stickers that say something which I can't remember right now. And a few more little touch-ups with white because I still wasn't quite happy with it. And then I think after that, I'm pretty much done with this one. So thanks you guys for watching, and that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.